Okay, let's get this shit over with. So why am I making another video on dehydration? Well, two reasons. First of all, the first video I made on this map is fucking terrible. It's actually fucking terrible. I made it in a time where I was trying to rush it out, and I just ended up having to cheat through the map in order to experience the whole thing, and not proud of that, so I consider this my redemption for putting out something as shitty as that. And I'll explain why I did it at a later point. Second reason, I've been watching a lot of Mount Payne's valedictorian playthrough series on his Patreon, and for some fucking reason he loves this map. I won't say for some reason, he actually does a great job at articulating his points, but just after watching that, I feel like I need to play devil's advocate here and just explain why everything about this map is wrong. Like, okay. First of all, I don't know if anyone can tell that I'm doing this in post in one take, because frankly I don't want to waste any more time than I have to. First of all, I'll just go ahead and get rid of the elephant in the room. This map is fucking huge. Like, it's actually fucking massive, and it's not even special to Eviternity to have a gigantic map, because Anagnorisis, the super secret map, is also incredibly big compared to the entirety of Eviternity. The differences between those two maps, though, are pretty stark. Anagnorisis is not a requirement. You don't have to play it in order to beat this whole lot. You miss the Skill Saw map, which is unfortunate because you have to play Anagnorisis if you're playing the regular secret map, but you have to fucking play Dehydration in order to beat Eviternity. Playing Dehydration is part of the regular campaign. And I feel like for something that goes as far out of its way to be nothing like what Eviternity has been putting on display here, then I just don't think that's okay. Because when I think Eviternity, the first things that come to my head are concise, interwoven experiences that carefully calculate every single step. And I really just don't think that's at all what happens with Dehydration. It's just something as simple as like looking at the par times. Like, most of these levels are like maybe a couple minutes on a par time. Even like, I don't remember what all the Anagnorisis was, it's like 39 minutes or something. Dehydration's is 30. And that's if you're like, par times are usually just if you're charging through a map. But again, I really think the biggest point to be made there is just like, it's something that you actually have to play through. Aside from you have the option to like, because when I originally like played through this whole WOD, it was for the Doomworld Mega WOD Club. It was something that I wanted to task myself with so I could try and keep to a schedule that was somewhat rigid and like defined by the people who ran it. Just making sure that I could actually like produce at a level of people that people expected. And I almost made it. I actually almost made it. It wasn't this map that stopped me, it was actually Heliopolis, because Heliopolis was so fucking hard. But when I got to this one, I heard that like it was going to be very long, and I heard it was going to be like, they were giving everyone 2 days as opposed to the usual like 1 day that it takes to complete a map in that club. So I was prepared. I was actually ahead too. I was producing videos ahead of schedule, just so I could upload them and have them ready for like the days that the maps are being given out in that club. I was maybe like, I had 5 days until the deadline for Dehydration to play it. Could not get a single run. Could not get a single run in it. And this, granted, it was my first exposure to this map, so I guess playing it blind with like no saves was a bad idea, because this map's obviously not built for it. I can't say that the blame is entirely on the map. There's a lot of it that's just how I hate playing. Like, for example, just going through here, there really isn't any consistency with the monsters, other than, like, are they like stronger than like some of the other ones? Like opening here, it's just been like hodgepodges of chain gunners, shotgunners, pinkies, lost souls, just seemingly like strewn about without any kind of consideration to what's being engaged, where their environment is, and even like the environment itself. Like I think people give a lot of credit to the detailing of Dehydration, which is fantastic. Like I think if it was in Eviternity, it should be fantastic anyway. So I think it's a given, but it definitely goes above and beyond with its size, and I can definitely appreciate that. But shit, some of this detail just like doesn't work. Like I don't know if I can like point to it now, but those like filter things that were made entirely out of mid textures down in that pool of water that I was in before this section, those actually can be shot through. Since those are mid textures and nothing in the MBF format can use lines to just like block shots, like nothing that, unlike a closed sector, can like block shots. Like if you can like cross through it, or your vision can cross through it, and it's not just a fucking wall, then you can shoot through it. And that chain gunner that I was fighting, like on top of that block next to the one with the switch, he could shoot through that weird mid-texture filter thing and hit me. And I think it's gonna happen later too, in this very demo, which fucking shocked me. Like, it's not even like that, where it's just like a singular instance. There's over-detailing to the point of hindrance for this map. I'm trying really hard to grab this chain gun here for some reason. The over-detailing on this map just drags it. Like, eventually gets to a point where you just can't keep saying, like, wow, this is really intricately made, there's a lot of attention to detail, because it's the whole fucking thing. Like, there's only so many times I can say, wow, how articulate. Which I think is one of Eviternity's greatest strengths, is that it knew where to stop. But yeah, I think I'm out of opener here, so I'm just going to kind of comment on like some of these areas. This one was a bit confusing at first, because like this is where you get like introduced to Make by the greatest thing you have to do with them is a chain gun. I think you get like the super shotgun up there after dealing with these like pressure plate switches. Again, it really seems like the Make are only here because like it's an open area and platforms are like big enough for them to walk around on. I just don't feel like the purpose in the monster placement around here. So here's like where I cross over and hit that like pressure plate on the ground, which I think is a pretty cool way to use the geometry. I think that's pretty nice, but the only reason I know where to go here is because I played this map like 6-7 times trying to get this recording, and I just have brute forced and memorized every part of it. Not like it's been signposted in any way, it's just that I just know what happens when I press what, do like map editors and just trial and error. I think I'd get lost like near the end of this map anyway, so I'm not sure if that really even matters. I recorded this maybe a couple weeks ago, and it's been kind of simmering on my desktop for that whole time, and I just want to get it out of here now. So I think upcoming is one of those fights that just kind of sticks out as like, you know, what's the purpose here? Like for some reason there's an Arachitron here. I guess he's supposed to be able to shoot you while you're dealing with the Mancubi, but for some reason he always gets stuck in this hallway. And yeah, here it is. There's this teleport trap that just kind of flings shit at you. It's a combination of like hit scanners, Hell Knight, Pinky, there's that one Revenant who's always a pain in the ass. And there's just nothing here to like pressure you. That'll definitely change like later in the map, where the geometry is what does like the most threatening things to your survival, but like here, it just feels like an artificial intelligence decided what monsters would go here. which I don't complain because it definitely gives you like good opportunities to top up your ammo, which is necessary. Actually, getting to look at that armor reminds me of something. Compared to like even just like the episode this map is in, the Brutality episode of Eviternity, where the past 3 maps of it have been like these grungy yet like energetic sewers, like a lot of like dark grays, a lot of teals, which I thought was a very interesting color that I really haven't seen used in any like Doom maps before. Like Magnolia has a good use of like teal and like cyan. It's the only other one I can really think of. But pretty much the entirety of Brutality is meant to be like this oppressive force that you really can't even comprehend with the usage of lighting. And you get to Dehydration, and it's a giant, well-lit reservoir with pretty much like every single kind of like tech-based texture you can think of. Like there's just a bunch of different areas that just like look completely like opposite of each other. I wouldn't say abstract, but like I'd say opposite, because like here we're going through like a mostly brown, like somewhat colorfully lit, like I don't know what it's called, not just industrial zone, but this feels like it would belong in like manufacturing. Also, yeah, another bit on those details, those crushers that have like the warning strips on them, in order for Doom to do textures, like 2 different like textures on like a ceiling, that has to be 2 different sectors. So if you get stuck like in between the striped lines and the actual like metal part of that crusher, it'll just do double damage. So you'll probably just get killed in one fucking shot from a single crusher. Yeah, that happened to me once. I think everything that could, like, bullshit you in this map has happened to me at least once, and there are just so many things that can bullshit you, it's inexcusable. Like, eventually I'm just gonna stop saying, like, wow, this is pretty, and wow, like, I like being in an open area, and eventually it's just going to turn into, oh, I didn't notice that could fuck you over. And I think we're closing in on what might be the worst fight. I won't call it the worst fight, but it definitely sticks out as just fucking bad. It's not this one. This one's actually pretty easy if you know to immediately back out after that floor lowers. Oh yeah, make sure you hit that switch that's tucked over in the corner right there. Because if you don't, then you won't be able to lower those lasers like halfway through the map. I actually did not know what that switch did until I just looked at it in the editor. It's actually, you have to hit both switches on both sides of that laser gate. Not like it really matters or anything, because like most of the way you can travel around it is pretty much circumvents the whole thing, but I will say this like one area connected with the Makers bit is good for like interconnection. That's about as far as I'll go for how well this map does with backtracking. Because a lot of it's just this central area and then like branches that go off into other places. I wouldn't say the interconnectivity is fantastic like other people would. So I think I'm going to start this next fight here. I don't know what I'm looking for, probably more rockets, but this, nah, fuck it, I'll commit. This is the worst fight in the WAD. Well, not the WAD, it's probably worse than the WAD, but this is definitely the worst in the map. Again, just a spam of random enemies, this time like a lot of heavy damage dealers like Revenants, Arachnotrons, Mancubi. And what you'll see in a second, what I'm really trying to avoid here, is I think it's 3 or 4 Annihilators. Which, aside from map 30, I think is the most numerous fight given Annihilators in the entire WAD, aside from their introduction, where map 10 introduces them with like a bunch of imps, so they start infighting and you can see their destructive potential. Here, they're just fucking here. And yeah, I'm still trying to put them off. I don't think they can actually wake up until they see you. Now, there is actually a theory that I will not call it a theory. I'll call it a rumor. I'll call it a rumor that it's believed that Stormcatcher, the author of this map, did not know there was going to be custom monsters in Eviternity. And that theory actually makes a lot of sense because no other custom monsters from Eviternity are used in Dehydration, aside from the Annihilator. And the Annihilator replaces a vanilla monster in Vanilla Doom, while all the other custom enemies replace, like, the SS Trooper, like Commander Keen, just actors that, like, wouldn't normally be used in, like, a legitimate map. So not only are there only fucking Annihilators in this map, but they are used in points where it might have been considered that they were just going to be regular Barons. And you're going to fucking see why that is a horrible problem in a bit. It's just like another incredible nitpick I could have. And I think at this point in the map is just where, like, my brain turns off. It's been maybe 15, 16 minutes at this point. Yeah, about 15 minutes. And this is usually where if I'm not, like, invested in, like, where this map is going to go, I just, like, yeah, it's over. A lot more people are more tolerant of that. I won't say it's like a map problem. It's definitely a me thing that I don't have as great of an attention span as I need for this game. Wow, that's still not like a great note to make about a map. Oh yeah, and that helmet just fucking teleports. There's like no indication to tell like when a monster's going to teleport, aside from like, oh, there's a line here that has like a different value of brightness. Oh yeah, there's two. I forgot it was two and not just a single one. I don't know if that Arachnotron behind him can too. It definitely doesn't teleport, but I don't know if it can. I think right here I'm trying to kill two Revenants that you can't see from where I'm standing right now. And the only way you can actually get them without relying on the blind accuracy of auto-aim is to go up into that tiny alcove and just risk taking them out from there. Actually, you kind of can see them. It's not fantastic, but you can kind of see them. I don't know when I give up and actually go up there and just tank the damage, but it happens eventually. And I think eventually is right now. Yeah, like that. That was fucking bullshit. There's just no way around that. That was fucking bullshit. I couldn't even see where the missile was coming from. I don't think I even heard him fire it. I think he just shot it straight down, and it was so quick that the sound didn't even have time to play. Now right now I'm trying to lure this cat demon away from that area, because there's going to be an archvile that drops down in there. Not a terrible archvile, it's just strange that it's blocking the specific switch. There are definitely not problems with archviles in this specific map. I'd say there's definitely been worse archviles, like in this episode even. It's just that nothing, like, memorable comes about from their use. This part's just fucking weird, like, you have to hit 3 pressure plates to get, like, these columns to raise up, and pressing each of them will just cause some, a group of monsters to spawn. That one was imps. I think the next one's, like, chain gunners. Not chain gunners, hit scanners and, like, lost souls. There is a good point to make against the whole, Stormcatcher had no idea that there were custom monsters, because there are a shitload of lost souls in this map. Comparing to, like, pretty much the entirety of Eviternity, there are a shitload of lost souls in Dehydration. So either like he just didn't know that they were going to be that their health was going to be reduced for this wad and just decided he liked Lost Souls a lot, or he understood and he increased his usage to accommodate for that. This next area is kind of a butt fuck that you can pretty much ignore if you time that crusher right. Yeah, but it's meant to like pressure you out into the open so that you have to run out into like a bunch of hit scanners that are stacked on top of crates. I didn't want to do that. Had no intention on doing that. So I'm just gonna take care of this on my way here. I've heard people like, I might mention Mount Payne's video a couple times, and it probably won't be like understood since that video is privatized, but I've heard people like him just complain about this section where you have to hit this switch to repeatedly like lower this lift, and like if that's the infraction that like people are concerned about, then I guess I can understand the mindset of going in and having this constant stream of demons in the form of like a 40, 50-minute map. Or in my case, an hour-long map. Now they're cool with that. But apparently hitting the switch and having to run over a platform is too much. Oh yeah, the last secret of the wad is here too. Not the wad. I keep saying the wad, excuse me. The last secret of the map is actually in this area. And I think we're maybe a third of the way done with the whole thing. Yeah, right there I was just trying to avoid having to cross over that pillar, which is the one that lowers down. So many of these traps can just be like walked away from. It's just strange. And yeah, there's the secret 5 health bonuses and a blue armor. I will say a huge problem with this map is that there's just not enough overhealth. Like, most of your recovery is going to be drip fed to you in like groups of like single-digit health bonuses, or maybe a couple stim packs to revitalize you back up to 100. But there just really isn't enough like power up worth shit. The only soul sphere that I remember in this map is the one in the final fight, which that's its own can of worms. But I think right here I'm just trying to avoid having to use that pillar. I don't think it works. I think it would work, I'm just bad at the platforming here. But yeah, I think if you're gonna like lay it on the player like this, like if you're going to be throwing them for such a long gauntlet with so many like heavy hitting enemies, then I don't think you can get away with not giving them more than 100. Oh yeah, I think like coming up here is going to be like another bit that just kind of like flies in the face of like the detailing of this map being like at all worth the time. Yeah, what the fuck was that? I have no good introspection on like, what the fuck was that? Is that corner a fucking mid-texture? Why? Why is that fucking corner a mid-texture? I don't get it. God, there's just so many like things wrong with the detailing that intentionally fucking harms the player. I don't care if you can articulate fucking good art through like putting a bunch of corners on a map. I just wanted to like not fuck me over like that. Because I legitimately don't know what the problem there was. Just fucking shots that went through the wall. I think I'm trying to just like press up on it and see like if there's actually something wrong. I don't know what it could be. I don't think there's like anything below that corner which would require it to be just a mid-texture. I just genuinely don't understand. Yeah, so right here you're supposed to be able to get that rocket launcher that's up on that platform. Well, not the rocket launcher, but there's a plasma rifle. And of course I fucking miss it because I jump off the wrong side, so it makes ammo a little bit tighter. It's whatever. There's like a make or break point, like maybe a little bit over halfway through the map that you either have the ammo to finish the map or you don't. And you'll realize at that point if you don't. This fight is probably the most consistent when it comes to like what's pressuring you in the entire map. You know, there's like pinkies that come out at you from behind and you have to like be able to avoid the damage sponges while making sure to avoid the imps throwing projectiles at you from the side opposite from them. And there's also an archvile to keep you from just lollygagging about. I don't mind this fight. It's a little bit annoying to kill that archvile raised up like that, but not an issue. I actually didn't think about it until just now, but what the fuck is this for? You press like one of the pressure plates and it just opens up a room with more pressure plates in it. Like I understand like the teleporting monsters are going to be like the reaction to opening up this room, but it's just another square room. Just another somewhat well detailed square room. You just have to shoot your way through another like random selection of monsters. And even like a pain elemental comes in, there's like no way I can just say like, oh, the main threat you need to look out for is like revenants or something. Like it's just, no, just keep shooting like whatever comes out of the teleport ambushes. Oh yeah, this part fucking sucks. Because you're eventually going to drop down into this, like, drain pipe. That's down below me right now. It's kind of filled with, hit scanners and imps and other projectile enemies. And I think the only way you can grab this armor is by, like, strafe jumping over to it. Oh no, it's not armor, it's a super shotgun. Excuse me. I'm surprised I've memorized so much of this map. So yeah, now you're in this fucking sewer system, and you have to shoot these enemies that are stuck behind these opaque waterfalls. In a fucking source port where you can make the waterfalls translucent. They're opaque. If revenants weren't only like enough of a problem to having to see their projectiles, there's a fucking annihilator that I didn't wake up somehow. Every other time I play this map, I've woken him up and I've had to fucking dogfight him through those waterfalls. I guess that's another point you can add to the, there was no idea that there was going to be custom monsters in this WOD, because you have a fucking enemy that can throw the most damaging projectile in the entire game, and you have to fight him either in a corner, where I drop down into this sewer system to begin with, or you have to fight him through an opaque waterfall, where he might be right behind it because the annihilators don't make any kind of step noises like the Cyberuses and Valiant or anything like that. And you have to risk just face-fucking like the most powerful projectile in the entire game, when the most health and armor you could have is like 140 and like 200 if that mega armor you got from the secret is still fully intact. I don't know exactly the health. I haven't counted all the health bonuses you can get up to that point, but the point is you're probably not going to survive a single rocket. Okay, and then you get to have the fun of killing chain runners. If you come out on the wrong waterfall, then they can just shoot you. They feel like it. I think the Annihilator sees me here. Yeah, he definitely does. And I just choose like, I'm not going behind the fucking waterfall again. I'll just take my chances. End up working out. So this room is just 4 switches that release monster closets. You just hit one of the switches and then monsters teleport in. And then you repeat that 3 times. I wish I could tell you, like, a singular fight. Like, in this map. Like, all the monsters in a singular fight beyond just, like, their class. Like, oh, these are hiss scanners, or, oh, these are weaker projectile enemies, or, like, oh, these are, like, Baron tier, where they have, like, a strong projectile and a lot of health. I can't confidently do that. I do know they get stronger for this last switch. But I completely forgot there was a Hell Knight here. I sure as hell don't remember the Pain Elemental. So yeah, this right here is the make or break point for this map. And my ammo isn't looking great, but it's looking a lot better than every other run that I've already had. I remember this specific bit because for some reason, like, one of the shotgunners behind that laser gate I just blew away just would not cooperate. Imagine remember, like, I just fucking cheated. I think this is where I started cheating. So I just resurrected and said, fuck it, I'm tired of this. I think the only way I actually get through this end is because there's an archfire behind that one laser gate. And he keeps reviving the shotgunners that are back there, and they end up giving me a shitload of ammo. Which, if that was intentional, then bravo. That would actually be like a really good way to have to think about like what you're doing. As in like thinking about like what has to die first. Because if like you use shotgunners being revived by archfires to get ammo back, I think that'd be a pretty good idea for a map. If it's intentional and good, I can't say for sure that it was though. Now I just need a moment to like recollect what's going to happen next. This section where you're just kind of above all the laser grids is okay. I think it's kind of cool. Like, I'll fucking say it again. Like, you can hear me say it again. It looks great. The map looks great. It's just not consistent with like what Eviternity has been trying to do, and especially not what Brutality has been trying to do. There's just rooms, like, there's all these red panels over here, and then you go into a room adjacent of it, and there's just, like, blue shit with, like, weird, like, screw panels on it. Like, this feels like 12 buildings in one. This whole map is just, like, 12 buildings in, like, one confined space. This Arachnotron's kind of strange, but what can you do at this point? This part, I didn't mind as much as other people. It's strange. Like, it's just kind of weird that it's, like, sitting in a map like this. Like a physics puzzle, not a physics puzzle, but just like a timing puzzle would exist in something like Dehydration, but really the only problem is figuring out, like, which switch affects which crusher. And you just have to hit the, you just have to hit the blue switches whenever the crushers are up in the ceiling. I somehow do that first try, I don't know how. I just kind of rotated, and I just expected that it would follow that rotation. Lucky for me it did. Crusher puzzle is probably the most inoffensive part of the map. sets up a pretty relatively easy goal and accomplishes it pretty well, in my opinion. Yeah, if you couldn't see that coming, that there's going to be an archvile in that archvile-shaped case around all these dead zombie bins, then that was going to happen. And here I'm trying to like look back. I think I end up missing a couple of cell packs, which are right here. I'm just trying to scrounge up whatever I can. Because at this point, I still don't know if I can actually beat this. I don't think I've made it further than, well, not here, it's a part that's coming up. Oh yeah, here's where I wisen up and actually, like, you know, get the weapons that are on these parts of the dam. I legitimately don't remember this area getting restocked. Well, okay, kind of a lie. I do remember the cactus. God, if I could continue just saying, like, I don't understand why these enemies are here, and it's, like, substantial, I would, but I can only, like, say the same thing so many times until it's like, oh, you don't have any other points. And yeah, that's the second button that lowers the laser grid there. This part I actually think is okay. Like, I like the idea of having to go down here and having to use this rad suit. This rad suit bit's okay, the rest of the rad suit bits fucking suck. But I don't mind that this one's a little bit out of the way, and like, for some reason, I think the transition between the regular blue water and the slimy water, like the damaging water's cool. It doesn't look natural at all, but I think it looks cool. And at this point with mapping, you don't have to look natural, you just have to look cool. I do think those helmets are okay placed. Having them in the corner where you think you can just bum rush the Arachnotrons before they can shoot at you. And then getting pressure from the right side, that's okay. I can name you specific instances in the combat that work. But I cannot say, like, the general motif here is at all possible, like, to consider for quality. Because here you go, it's just another random hodgepodge you can load out with plasma rifle. Okay, this part can just go fucking bad. Like, at this point, you're just kind of hoping that the RNG works out in your favor. So around this corner and behind this door are going to be a bunch of specters and an archvile. And you just really have to hope that the specters get out of the archvile's way so you can rocket it to death. That part shook me like several times. And right there, as you saw, it was just nothing. You can just go either way. You really don't have any control over it. one more archball that's pretty much harmless if you can manage it properly. If you know where it's going to come from and you know how to keep all the monsters that you kill away from that spot. It can't really follow you down into the sludge from where it's standing. Not really an issue. There is one more Annihilator that comes out, the one that teleported away earlier. Which would be weird if it was just going to be a Baron of Hell. Like, it makes sense this is an Annihilator because you have to worry about the splash and working that cover in the middle of the room, but otherwise it just doesn't make sense. I really think you could go either way with where the use of custom monsters wasn't intentional. Yeah, that was not really a problem because you actually have cover for it. Unlike the opening handful. Pretty cool way to get the red key, honestly. I'm glad that I eventually hooked back up. The instances where the backtracking in this map is good, it's really good. It just doesn't really work that angle enough to where you're in like the same area for long enough. Like, the parts where, like, the map just, like, branches out into, like, bits that you will never be coming back to is just... there's just too many. I also like this part here where you can just jump down this ledge and get more ammo, but it has confused me in the past. Like, how did I not get teleported there? Okay, this next part is fucking stupid. And that's all I have to say about it. You hit this door, and there's a line that teleports a single monster. If it's the Annihilator, then you're fucked. You have nowhere to hide from its hit-stun shotgun. And I'm pretty sure it's a shotgun because it's either the Sergeant's attack or the Spider Mastermind's attack that's on its left arm. There's just no fucking reason to use them like this. Especially when you have nowhere to hide. I guess the columns, if you can just wiggle your way onto the circles, but... it's like a fucking Rubik's puzzle. Like, you have to prevent that one monster from teleporting until, like, another one takes its place. I like to call this part the Sludge Factory. Because even, like, the most ardent defenders of this map, when they get to here, their brains just fucking turn to sludge. Like, this is, like, the point of no return for, like, too long. Even the people that enjoy this map just think this part is, draggy. They think that it's artificially increasing the length. They just had enough at this point. It's not even the fucking start of it, either. This area right here is just... fucked. Like, everything about this is fucked. Like, if I were to go to the left, I would have to be having to deal with Hell Knights that teleport behind me, and chain gunners that are entrenched underneath of the floor. And since I don't want to deal with that, I'll just go from the other side and completely break that trap. I guess there's other monsters too. I could say that about a lot of points in this map. Yeah, there's like an entrenched chain gun right there. And if you didn't know that he was going to be there, then goodbye to fucking 40 of your health and all the bones in your legs, I guess. It's just so many of these monsters are placed I wouldn't say out of the way because they are, like, in your presence when you're trying to go through the map, but just inconveniently placed. Like when you have to focus on a bigger target and there's just like these imps that are on the fucking beach of Normandy trying to hit you. I actually had a demo, like this is the furthest where I've gotten. What I was trying to say earlier, this is the furthest where I've gotten. I had a demo where I was at 1% health here. And just trying to fucking scrounge up as much as I can. I mean, I died anyway, because I got killed by a revenant that teleported right behind me and punched the fucking brain out of my eye sockets. So that's what I mean by, like, make or break points. Like, if you just dip below a certain threshold, there's no point. This section I think you're meant to, like, berserk through, but there's just, like, too many other threats like that chain gun that comes out to, like, trust just your fists. Especially, like, I don't remember, like, getting a berserk outside of that secret. I probably did, but in this current moment, I just do not have any memory of it. I've had moments where I've made this section a lot harder than it has to be. Mostly because I was panicking with 1% health, but it does seem just a bit out of the way and artificial. Honestly, shorten the whole map to the dam part and it would be fantastic. Like if you just like went up to like maybe that opening climb to the reservoir, worked through that side, got the red key, got to that door where the Annihilator fucking teleported, and then moved on to the final fight somehow. I guess you could round that back about to where you started, because that's where the last fight is. It's right next to the spawn point, which is pretty cool. There's the Revenant that made my eyes shoot my fucking brain out. And so I think after this point, I'm just flying blind. Well, not blind, I've seen people play this map before, but physically I'm flying blind. There's one harmless Archvile that's over here. He just kind of sits there. And if you can stay out of the way of that alcove over there, then the couple chain gunners that are placed can't hit you. I don't know why shit spawns in here, because I'm pretty sure they can't shoot through the laser. Yeah, they can't shoot through those laser bars. It's just kind of free meat at that point. I will say that after dealing with like melee enemies teleporting up inside your colon and having to like uproot hit scanners that are stuck in the floor, this yellow key trap is just disappointing. It just spawns like fucking imps around you. This is the most consistent the monsters get in the map. You get like a couple imps at a caco. And I think what really like holds this map back in terms of its design is I don't remember fucking anything about it. Like in the moment, I understand like where I am watching this recording, and I understand like, oh, there are like some monsters here. Like maybe I will know the worst threat out of everything, maybe. But ultimately, I can't like go back in my head and say like, here is exactly the layout of the map. Here's how it goes. Here's how the pieces fit together. No matter how good the backtracking is, like, I just can't do it in my head. Actually, I don't even remember where this goes. I think it's the section with the dark, slimy water with the pillars. I'm trying to fucking remind myself now. Oh yeah, for a map as big as this, the music is way too short. Like it's a Jimmy track, I can remember, not Cold Wires. That's the Speed of Doom map. I do not remember what the name was called, but it's like a 4-minute song made by James Paddock that does not make any sense for this map. It's like you're going through this waste treatment facility that's also a reservoir, and that's also like a sewer, and that's also like a manufacturing plant. And the music makes it seem like you're skipping down a river. Like there's no like overwhelming like grasp of the sensation that you're feeling. There's no like intensity in the progression. It's just like this nice like melodic like MIDI guitar the whole time. It's a good song, I just don't feel like it makes any sense for this map. Especially since this map is so long, and the song is like pretty short in comparison. Like the song in map 1, a map you can beat in like 30 seconds, lasts like 7 minutes. And the song for this map is shorter than that. I think I'm panicking here again because I'm down to 3% health, and I really don't have any option for quick recovery aside from like the scant stim packs. This should have been the make or break point for me, but I somehow managed to survive. And back to the comparison with Agnosis, their track also isn't perfect for the length of the map, but it's better. It's 8 minutes, which is better than like the 4 or so that this one lasts for. It's a weird. The Godhood Suite is the music for map 29, which is pretty much Jimmy's magnum opus. It's a melody of like not melody, a mashup of most of his songs, including like a lot of the ones for Eviternity. And I just still haven't listened to the whole thing. I really need to, but it's a 42-minute track for like a map that is so much shorter than this, which I guess makes sense for the terms of progression. Like it's the penultimate map, it needs something that's grandiose. I honestly would not have minded like listening to the Godhood Suite in this map instead. It wouldn't have been a good correlation, but it would have made the experience a lot better. And again, I hope I make this very clear. This is a really good song. It just doesn't fit. So I think I'm preparing for an Archvile to teleport into this section. That doesn't happen until like this fight of a bunch of random shit. Yeah, here's the Archvile. Like, I remember trying to like break through these bars somehow since I was able to for the Mancubi, but for some reason I can't do it here. Oh, that's very hilarious. I couldn't wake him up by shooting, but he had to see me first. It's whatever. This segment just fucking sucks. This segment is something you can see like out of a joke wad. It's this singular, like, nearly fucking square room with this Archvile that's kind of harmless if you have enough rockets. And these weird, like, grates that are indented into the wall that keep repeatedly filling with these, random, like, bottom-tier enemies. And the whole progression of this room is just you have to keep going into these alcoves that open up, hitting buttons, opening more alcoves that release more enemies, and then repopulate those fucking indented grates. It's a joke. It's a joke, and even like the indented grates just get refilled with shit like chain gunners or shotgunners, like as you keep going. I won't call it lazy. I like how the grates look. Definitely nothing about this map can be lazy. It's just wrong. I've also just noticed that I'm at 90% health here, and I think, yeah, definitely. Coming up is like one of the biggest reasons why you need like overhealth in a map as long, as like grading as this. Yeah, you know what's gonna happen. You know exactly what's gonna happen. Fucking zinger. Real fucking zinger. So yeah, at this point I'm panicking again. I don't want to hit the switch, but I kind of have to because most of my recovery options are just gone. The only thing I can do now is open up more of these fucking alcoves and let these grates fill themselves up again. It's just really funny because like I think this is when like the grates within the grates start opening up. And I think I'm either lost here or I'm just looking for like more recovery items to get my health topped up a little bit. I do see that there's medkits up here, and I try to make like a run for it, because like I wouldn't say sick of playing this map. I was sick of playing this map after like my third death. I think this is attempt number 7. I think I was just trying to like complete something. Yeah, thankfully I get to the medkits in time for this next fight, which is back in this central sludge area with a couple revenants and an archvile. I pulled the Mount Pain strategy here because I just really don't want to risk taking any damage from these guys, which somehow works out. Like, I don't know how I managed to get that archvile not immediately targeting me. Any of those revenants could have killed me in one shot. And you know, you can only take so much, like, stress from such a singular instance of, like... You can only take so much stress at one point, is what I'm trying to say. And you know, my first thought is to come back out here after I hit that switch, because, you know, you get fucking visual stimuli that opens a door right in front of you. You're gonna think, oh, let me go through that door. But no, you actually want to take that teleporter. This is where I get lost. This is what I'm trying to remember. So yeah, that like maybe 10-15 minutes is probably the worst part of the map. And from here, you're just kind of wondering, like, what left is there? And I think it's just like a couple hallways and then the last arena. Not a big deal. Shit just like keeps coming at you. Okay, final fight time. but not before two pinkies run at you from a door that you probably weren't even going to look back at. I don't know if that's the only soul sphere in the map, but that's the only one I remember. And they give it to you with no armor, like right before the final arena, which is a rectangular room with zero cover and just a bunch of random shit. I wish there were any better descriptions of this fight, but it's just a bunch of random shit. And you're basically just hoping it's in the fight. And an Annihilator. And also an Annihilator with zero cover from its hit scan attacks. So if shit goes bad, most of the monsters die out, and that's just gonna happen to you. It's just open season for it. Oh yeah, we're not done yet though, because there's like 5 more monsters that have to stand in your way for some reason. A chain gunner, a Hell Knight, a couple pinkies, and a Mancubus. Like, it's just random fucking shit. And I think this is where I realized that there's just like, I'm missing a monster and I don't care. This might be one of my least favorite Doom experiences of all time. Like, yeah, I'm happy it's pretty. I'm happy that like it's well detailed. I'm happy that it's lit well. I'm happy there's fucking mid-texture geometry everywhere. But it's just so strangely segmented, it's taxing on the resources, the monster placement just seems borderline randomly generated, and it's just so fucking big. Maybe I have too high of an expectation for Eviternity, maybe I just expected every map to look beautiful since someone like Dragonfly was managing it, but I don't think you can just rely on good looks alone. I just fucking hate this map. It's definitely not the worst one, very, very, very far from it, but it's just the one that I've hated playing through the most. And I just hope this video just puts my perspective into a better light and you can see like why I just hate playing this. This is everything that I don't want in a Doom map. I like concise, I like purposeful, artsy is not required. I really just have nothing else to say. I'll come back for Anagnosis at another date, but I'm just never touching this again. So I just appreciate you listening into my hour-long fucking unscripted ramblings. Yeah, Doom fucking sucks.